Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in once again. And we're always excited to have you here as part of our bi-weekly webinar series. Like always, we explore real business challenges. More importantly, how to solve them with smart, simple solutions. So today, I believe I'm speaking to a group of people who are well aware of how tricky HR can be. So juggling everything, right from arranging training programs to checking performance metrics, salaries, talent retention, and there's so much more. The list is literally endless for somebody who is working with the HR. And we at Pragmatic, we are a team that's genuinely very passionate about technology, especially when it can make life easy for those working behind the scenes in HR operations or any department. Now, our in-house AI team has been exploring how AI can actually make a difference inside Odoo. And after a lot of research prototyping, we've put together 10 powerful practical ways in which AI can change how HR works, not just in theory, but in real day-to-day process. So to walk you through this, we have our senior functional expert, Yashas. He is going to show you what these AI capabilities can really do and how they can help your team move faster, act smarter, and work better. So with that, Yashas, it's over to you.
Thank you, 𝗪𝗵𝘁. Very good evening, everyone. As 𝗪𝗵𝘁 rightly mentioned, this is a webinar which is all about how we can use AI tools with the HR processes and especially in Odoo. That is basically here we are combining the practices of a human resource consultant or a HR executive or a HR manager, the practices that they do in day-to-day life in their business on top of Odoo platform, that is basically Odoo as an ERP tool using AI. So these are the methods, or these are a couple of aspects where, as 𝗪𝗧 very rightly highlighted, the HR team which we have, who has seen day-to-day scenarios on the ground, along with the AI team which has the technology at their fingertips, have sat together, put together technologies in place to solve or to help out or to make it feasible. Couple of aspects, or we put out over here 10 powerful tools to help an HR to improve the efficiency, and in many methods. Let's see let's see each one of these in action. So what are we going to cover today? Why AI in HR is the next big step for Odoo users. That's one of the key important aspects. We need to understand what is the change that AI is going to bring, because we already have the Odoo tool as in the HR processes. Is there still a need for an AI, or if AI is on board, what are the changes? What are the different the responses that I can get from the system itself? And then what are the key benefits and the real world impact, how it can impact in my day-to-day operations as an HR. I'm speaking from a HR perspective. And let's see each one of these with an example with how we have put out in Odoo with the screenshots and with the workflows. And finally, if you have any question and answers, we'll be happy to address. So let's start our today's webinar. So basically, the first thing is, why do we need AI in HR? So as I said, we are using three things over here. One is we are speaking about Odoo as an ERP tool, which already has HR processes. That is starting from hire to fire, the payroll. It could be with respect to putting up the appraisals. It could be with respect to attendances, leave management, expenses. We have all these aspects already built in Odoo. So the question might be, then why do I need AI? Where is the place for AI to work? Don't you think any ERP is complete data-centric system where the users or the people would key in data into it, that is as part of transactions using the masters available, and then we fetch a couple of reports, and that basically it gives us an information capturing the day-to-day transactions to process our business, or to capture our business in a digitized form so that we can take informed decisions, and also there is traceability and accountability. On top of it, AI, what happens over AI is, with all this data, yes, it is available in an ERP tool, which is in our case scenario Odoo, but what are we making sense out of it? Like basically putting up, for example, any ERP tool cannot, at least for now, we believe that a standard ERP tool cannot say that, for example, if there is a possibility for an employee to leave the organization in the next 3 months, how satisfied he is based on the reviews that he has got, based on the way he is applying for leaves, based on the way he's putting out his job. That is basically how is he putting up timesheets? Is he overworking or not? On what specific matters is he concentrating during the time of work? Exclusively, all this is part of a particular employee only at the time of work, not with respect to their personal attendings. So with all these insights, that is AI captures all these aspects within the organization, that is within the time frame the employee spends in the organization. It captures so much of data and gives a much informative insights to the HR, to the management, even to an employee, in such a way that all three of the people can grow together. That is, organization can take informed decisions, very well structured decisions. The manager can get the insights of the employee along with the management, also of the market. How is the market? How should I improvise to retain my employees? How do I improvise the satisfaction criteria of my employees? How do I make sure the skill set of the employee grows? At the same time, the employees can get connected. How can I, for example, if I am an employee of a team, how can I improvise my skill sets? What are all the available resources outside or within the organization? What all benefits I can get from the organization? All these aspects from three different verticals can be improvised with respect to AI. And as I said, Odoo as an ERP gives you the data. AI helps you to understand it in a much better way. It could be for an organization, or for the HR manager, or for the employees. So what Odoo what AI can do in Odoo with respect to HR, we are very strictly, binding our whole subject for the HR processes for today's webinar. If you remember back in, a couple of months ago, we had put out how AI and ML can also improvise the business processes. That's a little different. Over here, we are exclusively concentrating on how AI can improvise the HR processes. So one of the things is we can boost the engagement by 15%. So basically, where AI tools are there, the company, the management feels that the overall employees and the individual teams are motivated. That is basically, a communication is improvised with respect to the team members, because AI gives us insights of how each and every employee might be feeling about the work culture, what are the benefits that are provided, what types of leave they are taking up, are their salaries at par, along taking market salaries into consideration, which team is playing a major role, are they, is their work well balanced? All these things will be taken up by the Odoo. All these information will be given by Odoo, by the AI integration with Odoo. Because of this, strategies can be improvised. Because of this, communication can be improvised. And most importantly, which one of the key important factor which I mentioned is the turnover. Many of the times, because of unseen circumstances, HR will be taken by surprise, or even the management will be taken by surprise because of a particular resource leaving the company. So what if the AI tool, where the HR and management would not be even having an idea, but looking at the work pattern, looking at the leave pattern, looking at the satisfaction rating of a particular employee, the AI tool integrated into Odoo can give the HR little hint about this person might be thinking of looking outside the company, or he or she might be thinking of leaving the company for various reasons. It could be personal, it could be with respect to work. But at least with respect to work, to a certain extent with respect to personal, for example, if a particular employee is taking too much of leaves for some reasons, or it could be for various reasons, but at least as part of leaves is concerned, or their work productivity is concerned, the AI tool can definitely give insights to the HR team, saying that probably the employee is unsatisfied, or not completely satisfied with respect to work-life balance, or with respect to pay, or with respect to the skill set matrix, or anything like that. So this can improvise or give a HR and the organization very well preparation time, so that they can engage with the employee, make sure they understand, both come onto the same page, and then they can take an informed decision. And also with respect to payroll and communication. Payroll, anyway, I'll be speaking about it a little later when I show the actual images and the workflow, where based on the requirement, for example, the entire organization is is mapped in the HR module as a hierarchy. That is, we call it as an organization structure. There is a CEO, then there comes the the CTO, then there comes the CFO. All of them are parallel in the workforce. And then they have the individual managers, they have a development team, then they have they can have a manufacturing team, then they can have a procurement, sales, finance. If it's an IT company, it's going to be R&D department, it's going to be a testing department. So there can be a lot of departments under which there is also hierarchy. For each one of them, there will be skill sets defined. Each one of them, there will be payroll bands defined, contracts defined. So AI tool can help the management also and to the HR also. What are the actual things available in the market? That is this company, or are we paying to the right way or the right method compared to the market within the company? And also, if I have to put out the skill set for a particular employee, how should they grow? That is, what are things they need to concentrate? What are the skills that they have right now? So all these information can be provided by AI itself. So with this, the payroll process gets more automated, more informative, and also the whole process gets it goes into a fast track method, rather than the HR have to take a if at all, imagine 200 employees and it just goes by written the definitions that if your particular experience is this and your this thing, you belong to this department, your salary is fixed. Rather than that, a more interactive way or a more informed decision where this is the employee whose next level should be so and so, the market level is so and so, and this is how it has to be done. Which department has, and for the management, which department is taking up more salaries? Why is it? What are the different types of people available? What are the different types of revenue generated? All this will improvise their efficiency. So these are all a couple of things which we'll see each one of them in detail in the further slides. As I said, the final thing is, why do we need AI and Odoo? Is basically it will benefit for a HR and also an organization along with the employee. So as a HR and an organization, for example, you might be thinking, so okay, if I have Odoo in place with the HR module in place, do I need to have integrations with different AI platforms? Because now that there are a lot of AI platforms available. It could be Google, it could be of any this thing. It could be there is ChatGPT. There is every modern tech companies coming up with AI tools of their own. So what we are presenting over here from Pragmatic with Odoo, with Odoo in the sense, on top of the Odoo product, we have built apps in such a way that, or we have built features in such a way that these will be integrated into Odoo itself. That is basically, these becomes a part of Odoo's apps, Odoo's own code. So you don't have to integrate with the third-party integrator. And so because of that, you don't have to worry about, like, how do I, for example, if I need payroll calculation through AI, if I need my resume reading through AI, that's one of the very key aspects. If I need retention calculation through AI, do I need to connect with 3 different platforms? No, the answer is you can just have all these tools within Odoo itself, and it can run seamlessly. As I said, which is built right within Odoo and not something like a third-party integrator. And most importantly, the settings for these, because AI clearly works on the data that is already there. That is basically, you have to train the tool or train the system that these are all the data sets. This is how this is how the data looks like, or this is the amount of data that we have. And based on that, there are a set of algorithms which will then, we call it as the models. Each model will build up, which will learn on its own, taking these data, understanding this data. So with that, as I said, it's going to be a smarter HR tool with real results, and also, everything inside Odoo. That's the most important part. Now, let's get into each one of these examples. What we have, what are the 10 different aspects? So let's start with the first one. So basically, what we say is bridging today's skills with tomorrow's roles. That is basically skill gap analysis is what we call. For example, as I mentioned earlier, we have in any organization, we have something called as a skill wheel. That is, for each and every role, we, first of all, with each and every organization, we would have built an organization matrix. What does this organization matrix means? For each and every role, these are the skills that is mandatory to have. And for any person to, and each and every employee right now fitting to this position has so-and-so role. So for every employee to move to the higher position, they need to attain the next level of roles. And also, we have to make sure that as and when the time, with the technology and the time goes up, these skills can also be revamped and upskilled. So what happens over here through AI is, usually what happens is, it's either the manager or the HR manager or the team manager who will clearly mention the roles and responsibilities, and also say that these are all things that you need to upscale yourself for getting into the next role or taking up the new responsibilities. But what if the AI tool in itself can read these tools, that is these skills with each and every particular employee or each and every particular job position. I'll not call it as an employee. It's going to be a job position. And then it says that, okay, the employees in this particular job position, their skill sets is A, and actual required for the next level could be B, and they can concentrate on these many resources in the sense it could be training materials, it could be learning new things, it could be getting trained or getting some certifications, changing the domain, or trying new different types of programming method or quality method or anything like that. So if AI can do this, rather than putting up because a HR, if there are more than 50 employees or 100 employees, cannot in fact practically sit with each and every person, and also the internal team managers cannot dedicate the complete time sitting with each and every resource and giving them time along with the roadmap and everything. So what we say is basically AI leverages the completed skill gap analysis record. That is, again, I'm highlighting, all this tool will work only if there is data available. That is, someone has to key in the data. What data? For example, all the employee related data, their skills related data, job position, what are the different skills that are required for a job position. All this to be available to a system so that it learns on its own, so that it takes informative decisions. Based on that, it can give us inferences. So, and then what happens is basically AI curates these recommended. I mean, basically it looks into the skill gaps. And then it also looks at what are the different resource materials available, trainings that has to be taken up by the particular resource or by the particular job position to get into the next one. And also it has a time frame. Basically it knows that, okay, for a particular certification as a qualified tester, I need 3 months of time. So when the AI says that, okay, this particular employee with this job position, if he or she has to move to the next job position or the role within the next 6 months, here are 3 months of time. Here is the 3 months of time where they need to probably concentrate on this particular skill set or this particular certification. And and also it will say that once the employee starts it, again, the data has to be keyed into the system that, yes, I'm starting a new certification or a new training or something. It will monitor the progress and it will say how well we are doing it, so that we can have the corrective actions in place. So here are a few snapshots. These are already tools built within Odoo. As I said, we have a dedicated AI team and also a very strong HR team. Put together, they have already built these features, and a couple of screenshots are representing these features. One of them, as I just explained, so in the employee model, our team has put out something called as AI analysis, where for every employee, for example, you can see over here for employee called 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗕𝗓𝗓, the next futuristic job role that the particular employee is looking at is to be a CEO. And then for that, already the current skills have to be put out. This is where I clearly mentioned the data has to be present in the system for the system to take to provide us informative, that is data or the inferences. So over here, the AI recommends basically the employee lacks proficiency in French and organization skills. If you see the screenshot in the bottom, it says that this particular employee needs to improvise in so and so things, which they lack, which is already put out in for the next role. So they need to concentrate on this particular tool for a so and so period, and if that is also started, it even helps the employee track their progress. So this is one of the examples. So with AI, apart from the manager and the HR taking much of a manual process, AI can also help in with respect to getting the very strong information and also very valuable information. Next one is basically with respect to next tool or next solution, which we would say is basically with respect to align the pay with respect to performance, equity, and retention. What does this mean? So basically, when the HR or the organization, or especially the management, decides, they would have set a compensation map. That is, for example, for each and every job position, this should be the criteria. This is how much is their skill set, this is how much is the experience that they carry, and based on their performance and also the peer review, this is how much is going to be the compensation. It could be percentages, there could be slabs, and all these things would be available. Now what all this would be set in Odoo itself as salary rules and salary contracts. With this, as I said, the inputs that the AI needs is the salary, role, department, contract type, experience, all these contract status, whether they are a full-time employee or a contract employee, and all these things. What AI does over here, is basically it analyzes each and every this thing, I mean, department wise or role wise, this thing that is basically compensation, and it will check if there is any imbalances. What do we mean by imbalances? Basically, it says for a particular department or for a particular job position, is there something which is I mean, where there is a compensation given which is below par or above par or at par, so that what does it compare with? It compares usually with the available data in the market. That is basically what happens. I mean, for the same number of, same experience, same qualified, same skill set employee or the job position, how much is the market analysis? How much is the market compensation? So with that, it gives the HR and also the management saying that this particular department or this particular job position is not being fairly paid or being underpaid or being overpaid as well. So it might affect your budget. At sometimes, if it's overpaid, it might also affect the performance of the people, where the retention can be at stake, and also the performance at stake. So all this is done by AI through HR module of Odoo. So again, quick screenshots over here where we have a compensation analysis report in in the employee module of Odoo, where it says for a particular title, you can see on the right side the screenshot on the right, which says for a particular department or for a particular overview, this is how it is. The compensation variability salary ranges from so and so to so and so for every particular job position, and this is the tenure insights as well. So a person staying in or working for longer period or shorter period or with different experience, different skill sets, who is getting better, whether it is at par or below par or over par, with the market analysis as well. So not just based on a set rules, AI acts as a, basically for a particular HR and for an organization themselves, it's like a second opinion. That is, are we doing right? So that we can take very well informed decisions. So that's, that's what we say: pay smart, retain longer, and stay fair. Going to our, and as I said, the AI tool over here spots the inconsistencies, which I clearly highlighted over there with comparing to the market. So basically it realigns and basically provides actionable recommendation so that our salary structures can be improvised and it can be put up at fairness, so that even the employee or the HR, if anybody wants to make sure that, if anybody asks, or even if there comes a discussion that on what basis are you taking up this decision, we can also say that we have a AI tool which has given us insights or based on these recommendations, based on the so and so information available in the market. So that's about the AI tools readiness with respect to giving us the insights with respect to compensation. The next aspect is with respect to HR AI employee turnover analysis. So basically what AI does over here, it basically has all the details. For example, in the HR module, as I said, in the employee module, we key in data of with respect to who is the particular employee, what is their details with respect to what job position, skill set, their experience, their salary, everything will be available in the HR module itself. So what does AI do over here? Based on the day-to-day activities of a particular employee or for a particular job position, employee actually. So depending on the timesheets that they put or the output that they provide in different types of transactions, it could be in manufacturing, it could be in purchase, number of purchase orders completed on time, based on the number of tasks completed, number of timesheets put out, number of leaves taken, all these taken into consideration, AI will suggest. And also with respect to salaries, it could be with respect to feedback, with respect to team feedback, individual feedback, and organization feedback. AI will predict how likely is this employee going to retain or gonna leave the organization. So that is what we call it as an attrition risk. So for a HR, AI tool will analyze and inform that these are the particular employees who might be falling into the range of leaving the organization, or who are dissatisfied, most importantly, for so and so reasons. Could be they're taking up continuous leaves. This could be a possibility. They're not able to complete tasks on time. Their feedback is not so good. They're not exceptionally well, or they're not well. So basically, out of 5, their consistent rating on a monthly basis is not beyond 3. So all this could be key insights which AI can tell because for one employee or a couple of employees for a particular HR, these are helpful, with respect to manually doing the task. But with more number of employees, with limited resource for HR team, and even for the organization to calculate all these additional insights, HR would definitely require manual resources. Rather, AI AI inbuilt within the Odoo tool can help them as well. So as I said, with all these, for a particular employee as well, if at all a particular dissatisfaction is identified, or the AI tool can suggest the learning patterns, what could be the things, any compensation adjustments that has to be done, or if there is any one-on-one meetings, or can also happen with respect to conflict management as well. So all these things can be suggested by the AI tool. So you can see on the screen over here one of the, again, analysis of the turnover analysis. So where clearly the Odoo this thing in the employee module, if at all for a particular employee and the job position and whatever the department that they are currently working on, Odoo will give an analysis. That is, the AI tool in Odoo will give an analysis of how are they working. I mean, since when they are working, how likely are they going to be retained, or how likely are they going to leave the company, and what all things are required. So the next one is basically with respect to, that is basically the feedback category. That is how well a particular employee is getting the feedback, and most importantly with the team members, along with this thing, that is their managers or individual rating, and how satisfied are they with respect to work and with respect to work culture. So the most important thing is, as you already know, we have in Odoo as well the survey modules which take peer analysis, team analysis, and also the management analysis. That is, we take the we have the surveys in Odoo which the HR will put out together, where the individual can rate themselves with respect to their performance and with respect to the work environment. Team also puts it out for a particular employee, and also the management rates. And doing this, consolidating this data, what is the next action? How well HR can take a very informed decision with this data is basically based on the overall ratings. AI tool will categorize this and also provide them with very good visualized summaries that this particular performance of a particular employee or a particular team is overwhelming, or is it, it's only is at average, or is it's not very good. You have to look into, this is the particular place, that is basically for example, the work culture is not fitting, the compensation is not working out, or with respect to new training, or with respect to skills, upscaling the skill set, something is not working out with an employee. So or the leave policy, it could be anything. So these insights can be given by the AI tool, saying that these are the feedback categories and these are the scores, so that the HR can clearly say that the employee and the team is working well with this particular department or this particular segment, and not in so and so with this particular segment. And this can be taken up with the management. Even the management can see the organization's health with respect to each and every employee with respect to these categories. As I said, the most important thing is, why are we doing this? Rather than analyzing or putting up the fire once the fire starts, we'll get to know, okay, is there a possibility of a conflict? Is there a possibility of dissatisfaction? And then we are taking up corrective actions than the preventive actions. So basically what we over here is, it puts up the early warning alerts as well with all these data in place. So this is where I put out the screenshots as well, where for a particular person with individual employee, we can go ahead and we can put out the sentiment score and the sentiment. Our AI team have called this as a sentiment because with each and every employee, it is an asset to a particular organization, and their sentiments matter with respect to, it can be compensation, or it can be with respect to skill set upscaling, or with respect to teamwork, or with respect to individual behavior within the organization. So the reason and the things, everything is put out by the AI itself based on complete analysis of the feedback. It can be peer feedback, organization feedback, teams feedback, with each and every department, each and every feedback category, that is with respect to work culture, with respect to upscale, compensation, and all these aspects. So as I say, what we say is morale is measurable and now manageable as well, because you get data which clearly says that how satisfied is this person is, rather than going on verbal data or the manual feedbacks taken up. AI can give you very rightful insights. The next one is basically, which I mentioned earlier as well, is the AI salary benchmarking, where the AI tool within Odoo also says, captures all the data with respect to what is the present that is a compensation put out to each and every job position. That is, we call it as a salary ladder. What is the levels? Usually any organization will have levels starting from the lower level of basically a junior engineer or an apprentice to the level of CEO and CTO and CFO. So from here, each and every job position will be given the skill set, and each and every job position will have the salary benchmarks as well. So in this particular example, we are going to take exclusively the salary benchmarking, where the present salaries for job skills and the job position is put out. What AI does is basically it looks into the market. What in this particular scenario, that is, for example, it looks into, okay, yours is an organization which is particular with in a particular business type of industry, so and so. Now let me look into the same size of companies or same market companies, where the same level of companies, for example, if it's a 200 to 500 size employees, the employee size is 200 to 500 with the specific industry and with the same this thing as well. That is, they are operating in Tier 2 city or Tier 1 city or in a metropolitan city. What are the salaries that are being paid for the same level of job position with the same skill set? Based on that, it gives us what is the industry average and what is the present company, that is the company which we are working on. Is it for a HR especially? Are we doing it right or wrong? Should we adjust something? Should we reduce it? Should we improve it so that my employees are retained? They're encouraged and all these aspects. So, it clearly says that basically how does my current job profile is put up in against the market as well. That is, how are we paying our employees? Is it at par? Is it below par? Or is it the right method? So you can see over here again, with respect to each and every employee, we can do this in Odoo. With respect to department and designation, that's one of the key aspects. So where the company size, the turnover, the city that they are located, everything will be taken by AI itself because it's available in Odoo. And this particular employee belongs to so and so designation and so department. Using all these key metrics, AI tool researches on its own, as I said. So it detects the overpaid or underpaid rules, and also it will check based on the department designation and current salary, years of experience, and it will suggest what should be the influencing factors. You can see on the right side screenshot, which says that the compensation comparison to industry standards and also the influencing factors. So we say that the compensation confidence starts with benchmarking. That is, are we paying right? Because all these aspects, AI is used as a secondary tool rather than taking up everything on our own. That is manual, putting up, the HR taking up everything on their own, reading some articles, reading some benchmark reports, reading the published this thing with respect to, okay, this particular department, this particular skill set is at the market rate, so and so. We can also depend on AI tool, which will inform us that this is how much is paid compared to so and so industry, compared to so and so city for the same designation, same position. So next one is basically the absenteeism analysis, which is basically says that it basically puts out a pattern with respect to how much as an employee. For example, if I am taken as an employee, for what all reasons I'm taking up the leaves and how often I'm taking it, which will help us plan my work also, and also gives us a very analysis to the HR saying that this particular employee is taking up so and so leaves with certain pattern. This might hamper your work, or they might be planning something else. Could be anything. It could be a long this thing, or with respect to health problems, or could be with respect to personal issues or something like that. So it gives a very good buffer to the HR also to plan very well ahead. So over here, inputs again. Everywhere we have put this out for AI to work seamlessly. Everywhere inputs are required. That is with respect to employee details, their leaves, their the pattern, why they are taking leaves. Is this a compensatory off? Is this a unpaid leave? Is this a paid leave? How well they are taking leaves. After completing the work or before that, in between the tasks. What is the pattern? Everything is learned by AI. But to do that, all this data to be given to the AI. That is about the employee, the department, the types of leaves they're applying, everything is fetched by AI. So absence pattern detection is basically done by AI, where it says takes up the roles, responsibilities, departments, and it takes up all the reasons. That is, on what basis is the particular employee taking up leaves? And then it says what is the quantify. I mean, it basically quantifies the last days. It also put out the estimation. I mean, it estimates the operational cost and also suggests the actionable items as well. Like probably a particular person is taking up leaves so that they have to study for a particular exam. So that why don't you make up to the HR? Why don't you put out some work-life balance in such a way that you can introduce new trainings at office itself? It could be a language training or it could be a skill set training, anything like that, so that it bridges the gap between a HR and an employee. As I said, again, an example over here, the total absent days for a particular employee, example employee over here is they have given a reason as a trip to Paris, a personal trip that is taken up, and AI has put out its own recognition and the impact on work. As I said, identifying risk patterns from time off behavior, I mean, before they impact the KPIs. That is, the team along with HR can plan very well ahead about any particular employee, their leave pattern, I mean, reading their leave pattern, which can give further insights as to how this particular employee is behaving. So that's what AI does. Next one is basically the overtime analysis, where AI looks into the productivity graph of a particular employee, and then it suggests how happily is this particular, if at all an employee is putting up additional time, how happy he is, or how is it improvising, or how is it helping the employee along with the organization, or first of all, is it helping the employee or the organization? Because what does Odoo does over here, it collates all the data. That is basically every task assigned to a particular employee, their skill set, what is the timesheets that they have put out, or when did they complete this particular timesheet, and what are the reviews based on the completion of this particular task. And then what it does, it says whether this overtime, I mean, if at all they have spent any overtime, or even for a particular task was, if at all the task was supposed to be completed in 2 hours and a particular employee took 4 hours, why did they take it? Was this overtime productive or not? Or this basically, are they overworking? Is it not up to their skill set? Is this particular task not up to their skill set? All these things will be given by the AI. And as I said, it can also be, sometimes the work itself might be very huge, or it needs more time, but the team member or the HR or the responsible manager did not consider that, and they had put out overwork, and because of which the employee might also get drained. Continuation of this will hamper the complete relationship of the manager and the teamwork and also the employee, so that it ends up in the employee leaving the organization, or not changing the department or changing the project, and so many other aspects. So what Odoo, I mean, AI tool over here does is basically it captures each and every aspect. As we have shown over here, the productivity score it has put out based on the options that this was the task which was supposed to be complete. These were the tasks for a particular week or for a particular month, was supposed to be completed within so and so time, and this particular employee has completed in so and so time. Now, this is the planning itself was wrong. Was a particular is a particular employee underskilled or overskilled, and how well they are? I mean, what is the pattern is given by the AI tool. So, as I said, know when hard work turns into hidden burnout, because as I mentioned earlier also, having this continuously, I mean, it's once in a week, it's fine, but once in a while, it's fine putting out extra efforts, or uh, turning out to be something else from the planning, I mean, the planned aspects. But if it becomes every day's routine, then the employee along with the team will definitely get overburnt. So as I said, separate productive hustle from overwork. So that's the most important aspect. Once again, this thing is leave trend analysis with respect to AI, where based on the departments over here. Earlier, it was when I mentioned about the leaves, it was about why a particular employee or how the particular employee is taking up the leaves, what is the pattern. But over here, what happens department wise, it gives a timeline chart, and also it captures all the data. That is, this particular department from the so and so particular team is taking up leaves. I mean, they have planned leaves, or they have taken sick leaves, or so and so. This can give the HR team a very good analysis. I'm sorry. This can give the HR team a very good analysis with respect to why and how these leaves are happening. Is there a trend? For example, especially when the weather changes, this is usually that happens. from sunny to rainy or sunny to winter because of the cold weather and we humans need some time to get adjusted to the changing weather patterns. And with changing weather, we definitely fall sick, or there might be some chances the flus. There can be certain times there can be some outbreak of diseases where usually many people fall sick. So all these things comes up, and also with age, people with who are aged a little more can have their own issues with respect to health. So all these things, based on the type of leaves that they apply. For example, some newly married can apply for a couple of leaves straight ahead after marriage. So it could be any reasons. So all these are patterns for a HR to learn. For example, I have so many people in my department who are belonging to so many categories. There is a young crowd. There is there could be a concert and people might take up leave on a Friday because there needs to go to a concert. So they might have taken this. So all these are very good insights for a HR to learn about their employees with respect to departments, with respect to people, because everything is at the end of the day boils down to the people analysis. The people management. So for HR, rather than depending on personal interaction with each and every employee, the AI tool can say that, okay, these are all the these things aspects. So it can provide a narrative intelligence. So clearly saying that these are the example over here is the sick leaves tripled in Q4 because of because of so and so reasons. The weather was bad, there was a flu in the city, or there could be different changes. There was some water problem. There could be some event happening in the city because of which people had to take leave. There was a festival. So a lot of things can change. So this can have a very well planned and prepared HR, so that they can plan resources in the absence of the actual resources. They can also plan the projects. They can also plan the overall activities. So you can see over here examples and screenshots from our AI tools within Odoo. Paid time off has been taken with 30%, 52 people, 53 people, 53% of people have taken sick time off in a particular month, or in a particular week, or in a particular day. And then what are the leave distribution types? This can give employee-wise, department-wise, a very good insight to a HR, and also with respect to, also to the management. So that's what AI does. So the next one is basically the AI benefits analysis. What is this benefits? Now, for example, any particular company for a particular for a particular department or for a particular employee, they would have given certain amenities and also the benefits. It could be health insurances, or it could be gymnasiums to use, or it could be yoga programs, it could be training programs. So looking into all this, it's basically an expense to the company. At the same time, this is given to improvise certain aspect of a particular employee, of every employee, in fact, which they might use, they might not use. Even could be as small as food coupons. The organization themselves can say that this is a coupons which is provided at cost. Definitely yes, at cost. Certain times can be given at free as well. So we are going to arrange the food every day at office. You don't have to you don't have to worry about bringing food from your home, time to prepare for it, and then carrying the boxes over here. Ultimate impact, if you think about this, the organization can think that, okay, certain foods can improvise the health benefits. They can give some healthy food so that they improvise they make sure the health is taken care of as well, along with the other psychological aspects, that I need to carry the lunch, different types, different days, I need to prepare at home, and all these aspects. Omitting all those, the organization can themselves provide it. But then, is my employee using it? If they're not using, what is the comparison between an employee who is using these benefits for an employee who is not using it? Are these benefits underused, overused, or at value? What is this final result for me? Because we are spending, as an organization, as a team, as a management, we are spending so and so for this particular benefits. Are these rightly used? So all this will be basically given by, this intelligent analysis is given by AI. So what it does, it captures the time logs, contact details, the leave utilization, appraisal scores, and all these details, the tasks and everything. As I said, the health insurances, the wellness programs, the training programs, who is using it high, who is using it low, and now what is their skill set. Before starting the programs or before using these benefits, what was their performances, how well their this thing, that is basically feedbacks were, and what is it at this moment after 3 months of use or after 6 months of use. If we evaluate, the company gets to know that, okay, the money which we invested in is giving us some good numbers, is turning up into good values. Employees performing well, their health is good, they are not taking up much sick leaves, they are taking up, they're performing well, their compensation has increased, we have got good income as well with the employees' performance. Because I always say an employee is an asset to the company. If the employee performs well, the company automatically will perform well. There is no doubt in it. So with all these are AI the analysis which are provided by the AI. So it recommends new perks, or it also says that, okay, this particular feature or this particular benefit is not at all used or very least used by the employees. Why don't you reallocate it to something else which can benefit the employees in a different way? So all this can happen. So as I said, over here, the benefits utilization rate is shown over here, one of the examples. Again, all these are already available, which are made available by the Pragmatic team with the AI and HR team on board. So this is one of the example where, based on the leave patterns and based on the utilization, the AI will give you the analysis. So benefits unused are benefits wasted, for sure. It's particularly an expense. So optimize what your team really requires and really values. So that's what we say. Now, the last tool is something with respect to succession planning. So basically, as I mentioned earlier as well, how well is a particular employee ready to take up the next role? Should we hire from outside, or can we concentrate within our team members itself, so that we can put out a plan, giving them a target, saying that this is the target role that we have kept in mind, and these are the patterns, or these are the path that you need to choose to achieve that. If AI can do this on behalf of a HR, for example, with each and every employee, they're working so and so on a particular task in a particular department on a particular project, it can clearly say, take up continuous feedbacks, look into their work patterns, the task, the turnover, and everything. And AI can suggest that this particular person is ready to take up the next role, or even if they have to sustain in the same role, they have to upskill themselves. So all that can be put out, saying that the future roles, it scores the candidate for the future roles based on the performance, feedback, and also the skill set. This will give the HR as well, if there is a new role to be put out, new role has to be made ready, that is, a new person has to be filled into the new upcoming position. The AI tool can suggest them, okay, you don't have to look outside because you already have people in place. You just have to take them, look into the, evaluate them, and take it up. So again, putting up screenshots over here, so you can clearly see who all people, that is, which employee is ready, or who are all eligible, and how is their score, which is put out by the AI tool itself with respect to the successor analysis. So the HR can see who is ready and shape their next step. That's what we say. So with all these tools, what are the advantages that we say? Again, as I said, Odoo as a HR tool is amazing. With that, we are adding, it's an icing on the cake. So basically, we are putting up more informative insights using these AI tools, so that it's like a second opinion. It's a more intellectual opinion that a HR can get, which is improvising visibility and getting the, as I clearly mentioned, before the fire engulfs everything, rather than waiting till the moment, we can clearly see what are the team risks that are coming up before they become actual problems. The HR can look into it, and they can see, they can take fair decisions. They can see, they can look into the leave patterns, they can see into the compensations, benefits, they can see into the absenteeism, retention. They can also see, basically, with respect to the succession plans, the next roles to be taken up. So all these things can be gained with the Odoo integration into HR module of Odoo. So we always say that to lead your team with confidence, see what AI powered HR can do for you. So for HR and organizations, these AI integrations would seem very powerful tools, and also very insightful tools to take informed decisions. So that concludes our webinar. And if you have any questions or anything, you can feel free to ask. Thank you.